What is up, V Summit? If you can hear me, can you type yes inside the chat? I got a chat right here. Got a short amount of time with you guys. Please type yes if you can see me, hear me. All right, fantastic. You know, Pauline gave me a great introduction, but I share a lot of similarities with every single one of you. Let me introduce myself. My name is Melvin, and I'm an investor. And let me tell you something, okay? Please type me inside the chat if you are an investor, which means you have money in the market right now. Please type me inside the chat. Flood the chat. Give me some love. Show me some that you are an investor. Great. Last night, the market turned very red. Last night, I take a look, at my brokerage account. I saw cryptos down. I saw the stocks that were already down for 1 or 2 months were down even more. Yes or no? Please type in the chat. Yes or no? Right? You check. You're like, what the heck? Please type. Correct or not? You slept through. Very good. You keep sleeping. Don't even wake up. But if you check, I tell you, my God, all sea of red. Now, true or false, in the last 1 or 2 months, they have been correcting over and over again. Yes or no? Please type inside the chat. Is that true? And when you look at it, right, just a couple of 2-3 months ago, it was at an all-time high. And you thought to yourself, oh, wow, this is fantastic. And then recently you go and check. And you see all just down, 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 down. Yesterday was a new low. For a lot of growth stocks, new low. And they are down, what, 50, 60, 70, even 80%. And you think to yourself, I don't know how low this can go. Has that ever entered your brain before? Yes or no? Please type inside the chat. If that has entered your brain, you're like, man, first of all, 5, 10%. Now it's like, how low can this go? 50%, 60, 70? Wow, that's a lot. And so when that happens, how do you feel? What are the common emotions that people feel? We're going to discuss that today because the common emotions that people feel is what? Fear, anxiety, worry. Oh no, I lost a lot of money. A lot of different emotions. And today we're going to talk exactly about that. I call it decisions under fire. How exactly do you make the right call when the pressure is on? You see, I do many things. One of the things is I run a wonderful mentoring program together with Ken. We coach people in our mentoring program called Infinite Wealth. And over the last few months, we have had the questions over and over again from our community. Hey, Mel. Hey, Ken. The stocks keep dropping. What to do? How? When they come back? You see, it's kind of an interesting phenomenon. Why? Because when the stocks are too high, we don't buy. We say, hey, it's too high. Now's not the right time. Now, when the stocks go down, we don't buy. We say, hey, man, I don't know how far it can go. Will it ever turn around? What do we do now? If we never buy when it goes down, never buy when it goes up, then when do we ever do anything? How do you make the decisions under the right call? I don't have a lot of time with you. And Gautam shared some excellent ideas in the area of investing, but I'm going to tell you in this very short segment how exactly you can live well. You can really take care of your own personal mindset so that you can really be a very good investor. Yes, it's important to have the investing ideas. But at the same time, if you're not in a space where you can make the right decisions, when your emotions take control of you, such that you're paralyzed, it's very hard to take advantage of anything. It's very hard to make any money from the stock market at all. That is what we're going to speak about, right? How to make the right call when the pressure is on. And believe me, right now, the pressure is on. There is fear, there's anxiety, there is worry. What exactly do you do? How do you not get paralyzed? How do you take advantage of this moment? Because this can be the very best moment if we know how to manage our emotions. So, I want you to do one thing for me. Let's move on to the next slide. Guys, help me move on to the next slide. I want you to type inside the chat now. What emotions come up when you see this? Please type inside the chat really quickly. What emotions come up when you see this? Okay. Be honest. Be honest. Okay. Some people see red, fear, what, die, stop, opportunity, worry, mixed feeling, vomit. Someone say vomit, right? You can see. Hey, look inside the chat, right? Right now, you can see. Different people have very, very differing emotions when they see this right now. Isn't it interesting? You see the same situation, so many different emotions. Now, if you feel excited, you might take a different action. If you feel nervous, you might take a very, very different action. And we're going to discuss this because this can be the very, very best of times, or it can be the very worst of times. Now, I want to share something very interesting with you. Let's move on to the next slide. Right? Our brains are wired. Our brains are not wired for investment success at all. They are not. You see, our human brain was wired for a time where we pay very close attention to any kind of movement that happens. You see, our brains are not wired for the stock market, not wired for facts, numbers, figures, etc. That's one of the things that we share with our infinite wealth mentees over and over again. Right? Our brains are not wired. Our brains are wired for survival in the jungle. Our brains are wired to take advantage of things that happen all of a sudden. Because if you respond quickly to a threat or danger, it can mean the difference between death or survival. Our brains are wired to pay attention to any sudden movement. Our brains are wired such that fear, adrenaline, stress, cortisol, they bring out the very best in us so that we can jump higher, run faster, etc. Now, these exact neurochemicals, neuro emotions that have kept us and our ancestors alive for so long are really, really terrible for the stock market. Can you type yes if you understand? Because when you respond fast, you respond out of fear, you have trigger happy emotions. They're very, very bad emotions for the stock market. And so I want everyone to understand that the default setting you have is not wired for your stock market success. It's not wired for your investment success. We are literally programmed, wired, brain-wise to fail. Which means that we all need to engineer something within our brains. We need to insert something inside our brains, a new way of thinking, so that we can succeed. Now, this idea of managing our brains and our emotions is something that in recent times, people have started to realize the importance of. Last time, no one talked about mindset. No one talked about mental control. No one talked about emotions. The only thing people spoke about last time was skills, always skills, skills, skills. Until when you look at sports peak performance, we started to realize that a player can be very, very skillful, but under the wrong conditions, where fear, stress, pressure enter the equation, all of a sudden the skillful player literally forgets how to play football, can't shoot the basketball, can't make a proper pass, and all of a sudden flop. Can you type yes inside the chat if you have seen that before? You see, we all, and then when you sit at home and you judge them, you're like, hey man, why did the guy miss? It's so easy. Even I can do it. Even my grandmother can do it. That's true. Under calm situations, when you got 80,000 people booing you, when it's life and death, when it's the final minute, when whatever you do can determine whether you're first place or second place, that pressure, that tension, that fear, that anxiety builds up, and it can really affect your performance. And I think all of us have seen that before. All of us have seen amazing people crumble under pressure, which is why all over the world, you realize that top performers are hiring mentors, mental psychologists to help them in their area or sharpening this area, because they realize that if they don't prepare this before they go into the game, and they think, hey, when I'm in the game, I will rise to the occasion. Can you type yes if you understand that? A lot of people say, hey man, under pressure, I will rise to the occasion. You will not. That's BS. You will not rise to the occasion. Okay? You will not. In fact, you will fall to the level of training that you have. Under pressure, when there's panic in your brain, you only remember what you have during trading. Now, if there's nothing to fall back on during trading, then you have zero. Then you enter pure emotion, you enter paralysis, you enter freeze mode, you enter I don't know what I'm doing suddenly. That's what most people are. Why are we doing this short session? Because I want to prepare you right now. Because I think most of us are not prepared mentally for the market. I want to prepare you right now. This right here is the psychology training that you need. Because I predict, and maybe you are on the same page, I don't think the bottom is here yet. Can you type yes if you believe that? I don't think the bottom is here yet. I think there is a lot more to drop. And if we don't prepare this, you're going to freak out. And it's going to be a terrible time. And you're going to have paralysis. I belong to different Telegram and chat groups, and I can tell you right now, people are panicking. People are selling when it's a C or red. People cannot sleep at night. There's quite a lot more to go. How long more? I have no idea. So what is our only preparation? Prepare our minds so that we can handle whatever comes. And even better, take advantage of this. Now, as Ken and I started to mentor a lot of people in Infinite Wealth, as Ken and I started to have a program called Rewealth, where we coach people through the psychology, the mindset of investing, we started to realize one very interesting thing. You see, there are two kinds of people we realize that perform very well under pressure. And these two people don't look the same at all. They don't even hang out at the same places. They don't speak the same language. It's kind of weird. The two people that behave exceptionally well under pressure, Number one are the world's greatest investors. They seem to thrive. Can everyone type the word inside the chat? Thrive. Thrive. They seem to thrive when there is fear, when there is panic, when there's uncertainty, when there's stress. They seem to do their best work. In fact, they seem to have very great clarity. They seem to take very decisive action. When everyone is paralyzed, don't know what to do, they are like, hey man, this is the best time. And they seem to do their very best work. They seem to be completely unbothered by the noise. Kind of weird, right? We put our favorite grandfather over there, Warren, together with his partner, Charlie, the world's greatest investors. There is fear, there's blood in the streets. Right? They seem to do their best work, completely unbothered. Now, the next one. The next group of people that perform under pressure are elite armed forces. People like the Navy SEALs, right? I have my own coaching program, even though we mentor people. I'm part of a Navy SEAL coaching program where they're actual Navy SEALs coaching us. And they love pressure. In fact, they have the clearest thinking under pressure. And we decided to look at the way these two people speak about how they behave under pressure. And we realize even though they use different language, they all have the same methods for succeeding under pressure, for thinking clearly under pressure, for even thriving under pressure, for making the best decisions under pressure. And that's what we want to share with you today. Can you type yes inside the chat if that will be useful to you? How exactly do people like Warren, people like the Navy SEALs, believe it or not, share the same philosophy? How do people like Charlie Munger, commandos, share the same philosophy? We want to share that with you very, very quickly. Okay, my time with you is going to be very short. Probably cover this in 30 minutes, 35 minutes. How exactly do you set yourself up so that when pressure comes, you're unbothered? Like Warren, or like the Navy SEALs, clear-headed, know exactly what to do, very decisive, make the right decisions. Okay, so I want to cover it with you. That's what we are here to mention. I got some notes over here. Mention the first stick. Okay, first stick. And I called it unlocking the superhero part of you. Now, I know some of us don't believe we look upon the Navy SEALs and we're like, hey man, I'm not a commando. You look upon Warren and say, hey man, I'm not sure if I can do that. Let me tell you, you can. 5 steps here. Can train himself to do it. We train the people in Infinite Wealth to do it. I've trained myself to do it. We all can unlock that superhero part of me. I put a man and a woman there because it's regardless of gender. All of us have that superhero part of us. Can you type the word hero inside? So I know that you're ready to unlock that. Okay, let's have a little bit of fun. Please type the word hero inside. Okay, I don't have much time with you. First stick. And this is straight up a Navy SEAL elite term. I call it develop front sight focus. Please write it down inside your notes. We only got 5 things here to write down. Really simple. But I'm going to elaborate upon every single one of these points. Develop what I call front sight focus. Now, what is a front sight focus? As you can take a look over there. When you aim a gun, what kind of gun it is, right? You have to look through the scope and you have to focus right there on that scope. Where are you aiming? Now, what the heck does this mean for investing? Very, very simple. Number one, you must set a very, very clear goal. Here is a vague goal. I want to make money. How much money? What exactly does that mean? What is the amount? What is the percentage? Right? What kind of time frame? It needs to be very, very, very clear. How much money do you want to make? How many percent? Right? What does that look like? Why? Because all the different strategies adjust around what your goal is. But if your goal is vague, I want to make money, then what method works for you? Is 10% money? Is money what? Is 5% money? Right? 1% is money. 100% is money. Which method works for you? How do we know? When our goal is vague, then we fall prey to shifting kind of strategies, right? A moment you're doing this, a moment you're doing that, a moment you're doing this, a moment you're doing that. Then all of a sudden it's very hard to succeed. So the first key is, what is our very, very clear goal? That is very important. All Navy SEALs, when they enter, the mission is very clear. What are we there to do? Rescue 2 hostages, exit ASAP under an hour. See, that is a very clear objective. Now, the next question after the clear goal is, why do you care about this goal? Very, very important. Is it for your family? Is it for your retirement? Is it because you want to accumulate wealth? What is the goal? In one sentence, clear. Next one, why does this matter to you? This grounds you. Can everyone type inside the chat? Grounds. G-R-O-U-N-D. Grounds you. You see, the worst thing that can happen is an investor that is not grounded. When you are not grounded, you don't have a goal. You don't have a reason why you're even in the market. Let me tell you what happens, and you can type yes if you agree. You fall prey to other people's goals, which means a person comes in, they try to influence you, Then you like, oh, you're sweet. Okay, yeah, let's follow that guy. And another guru comes in, they mention the idea, let's follow that guy. Yes or no? Please type inside the chat. You realize that I did a goal setting session recently for a lot of folks here in the V community. And I say that if you don't have a goal, you are now part of other people's goal. You're like a leaf in the wind. Everywhere the wind blows, you just go. But if you have a clear goal, this is what I want to do, here's why I want to do it, you're grounded. Third thing, very, very important. Please type the word inside. This is very, very important word. Please type the word metric inside. M-E-T-R-I-C, metric. You see, when I have a clear goal, let's say I want to make 30% from the market every single year. Why do I want to do this? Because I want to bring forward my retirement by 10 years. Now, the third thing is metric. What is the metric by which I decide whether I'm successful or not? Now, why is this important? The moment you set up your own metric, you decide if you're successful. But if you don't, then other people can tell you, oh man, you are failing, you know, hey, you should follow my method, oh, you're not doing well, blah, blah, blah. But if you have your own metric, you're very clear. My goal, my reason, my metric, then all of a sudden you are in control. Can everyone type the chat? Control. You are in control. You know what the opposite of being in control is? Out of control, which most people are. Remember, our brains naturally want to be out of control. Emotional, fear, anxiety. Everything we're mentioning over here is bringing back control, right? You tap into that rational part of your brain and say, hey, what is our goal? Hey, why are we doing this? Hey, what is our metric? Hey, remember the mission. This is why we are entering the market, because why? The market is engineered to manipulate your emotions. But if you always remind yourself, hey, what are we doing here? Why are we here? What metric are we using to determine our success? What is the mission? Then you bring your mind away from the emotion to the rational, logical part. And that is very, very important. Can you give me a thumbs up if you understand? Okay, I can see many of you. Give me a thumbs up if you understand. Because it's all about shifting what? Because all the investors say what? Oh, we must move towards the logical. What the heck does that mean? How do you do it? I'm teaching you how to do it. It's when we ask ourselves the different question. What is the objective? What am I doing here? What is the goal? What's the metric? What's the mission? And that's how you move yourself over from emotional over to the rational. Next one, very important before we wrap up this segment. Please write down, don't shift the goalposts. Don't shift the goalposts. Because there is a tendency to. I tell you, don't shift the goalposts. Are the slides moved? No, the slides are not moved because I'm still on this point. Don't shift the goalposts. Very important. Please write that down. Don't shift the goalposts. Why? Because when you're in the middle of investing, there is a tendency all of a sudden, as you compare, you're like, hey man, oh, I'm not doing so well. Because my friend, he buy this coin, then he made a lot of money. Oh, actually, I'm doing very badly. Can you type yes if you have ever felt like this? You're following your own plan, everything is going fine, but then you compare to someone else, and all of a sudden you're like, what? Yeah, maybe I tear up my plan. Maybe I follow his plan. Now, the moment you do that, you tear up your game plan in the middle of the game, just because you're reacting, not a good idea. Because why? The moment you do that, what sets in? Fear, panic, jealousy, comparison, etc. And the moment that sets in, then fear and anxiety happens. Bad decisions happen. The Navy SEALs don't tear up the game plan right in the middle. Yes, someone asked, right? What exactly do you are able to adjust, adapt, but we remember the mission, remember the objective, remember why we are here. Okay, please write down inside your note somewhere. I mentioned just now. Remember the mission. Remember, you're not in the stock market for entertainment. You're not in the stock market for fun. You're in the stock market because you're there to accomplish something, to enhance your wealth, bring your family closer to prosperity, bring yourself closer to retirement, help your spouse and your kids have a better life. Am I correct? Type yes if I'm correct. You're not there to go on an emotional roller coaster. If you wanted an emotional roller coaster, go and take a real roller coaster. You are there to get a job done. And so shift yourself, remind yourself, why am I here? I'm not a stock market addict. I'm here to get something done. And that brings you over to a rational place. That's the first key. Now, second one. Yeah, and simplify the mission. Okay, please write down inside your notes. Simplify the mission. Now, what does it mean to simplify the mission? It's very simple. This entire game, see, the more complex we make the game, then the harder it is to win. Now, the people who want to confuse us, the people who want to take our money, it is in their interest to make the game as complicated as possible. Please understand, the game is very simple. There are only two things you have to do. Number one, do the right thing at the right time. Number two, don't do the wrong thing at the wrong time. That's all. Can you type yes if you understand? Do the right thing at the right time. Don't do the wrong thing at the wrong time. That's it. Now, what does this mean? Please write inside your notes. Action and inaction. It is as important. In fact, I want you to write both words inside, especially the word inaction. Type the word action and inaction inside. There are only two things to do. Do the right thing at the right time. Don't do the wrong thing at the wrong time. That's it. Okay, no, not inaction. It's inaction. Now, what does this mean? One of the things that Ken and I discuss for our mentoring group, right, as we mentor these amazing people to make wonderful money in the stock market, take advantage of opportunities, right, change their entire lives. We highlight to them, we play a whole series of games with them to highlight that action is important, and we always talk about action. So many things we learn today. But sometimes inaction is just as important as action. Sometimes we ask people when we mentor them, why you take this action? They say, hey, I also don't know. I feel I need to do something. Right? I mean, if I don't have some kind of activity, I feel I'm missing out. But we're like, but you don't even believe in this company. You don't even think it's a good opportunity, but I just feel I want to do something. Have you ever been there before? Can you type me inside the chat? If you felt compelled, right? You check out the entire market and you're like, I gotta do something. I feel like I need to do something right now. Type me if you have ever suffered from that before. I call it itchy finger syndrome. Okay. I don't know why I'm buying and selling. I just feel I need to do something. Now, Warren Buffett, right? When we share with our mentees, we share with them a great quote by Warren Buffett, often gets ignored. In fact, two quotes by Warren. Number one, inaction is sometimes more important than action. Warren even said this, and I have a book, right? It's got a wonderful quotes of Warren Buffett. And he said that if everyone were to be given one of those little ticker cards where every single person can only, in the entire life, only make 10 decisions in the stock market. 10. So you're not allowed to buy, sell. You can only make 10 decisions in the stock market. And once you hit 10, that's it. The average person will make way more money than if they took many decisions. Why? Because very often, we take a lot of actions based on our fluctuating emotions when it's not necessary. And so we want to simplify the entire game. It's about doing the right thing at the very right moment. And very often, in all the other wrong moments, is to do nothing and just let it be. Can you type yes inside the chat if you understand? Action and inaction, both equally important. And so a large part of what I'm going to share with you is how you can curb that itchy finger syndrome also, where you obsessively check and then you're like, oh my God, I need to do something. What is going on? Why? Right? Because the brain likes that kind of thing. But sometimes just letting it be. And then when it turns around, and then all of a sudden you look like a genius. There are many times in the stock market where right now, maybe you bought something and you look like an idiot. But very quickly, when it turns around, suddenly you look like a genius. Right? And that's that, to simplify the mission. Let's move on to the third thing. Okay? I call it enemies of the state. And to know the enemies, right? When a Navy SEAL goes out and conducts a mission, it's very important to know what are the enemies. Who are the people who are there who want you to lose? Now, what are the enemies of the state for you in your mind when it comes to investing? Here are the different emotions. I've studied a lot of this kind of stuff. The different emotions that psychologists have put down in the area of investing that cause people to make the wrong decisions. Please write some of these down. Number one, pride. Pride. Pride means what? I made a series of great decisions. I cannot be wrong. I'm always correct. You know, I've had the best fun for the last 20 years. I'm always correct. Now, the moment you hear that, pride causes people to make bad decisions. Why? They get sloppy. Type yes if you have noticed that. Right? Pride and ego. Exactly. The moment there's pride, you start to make bad decisions. First emotion bad. Second of all, anger and frustration. Usually, sense of FOMO. Now, the moment the person feels anger, frustration, I feel I missed out there. I never buy it. Never buy it. Now, this is my time to come back. The moment a person does that, that's when they start making dumb decisions. Can you type yes if you've seen that before? Anger, frustration, FOMO. Confirm you see it before. Okay. Now, third one. What's the third emotion? Oh, this is another one. Comparative jealousy. Ayo. Last year, I only make 100K from the market. Well, my friend make $1 million. Wow. I need to do something about this. And you start to look for risky investments. You don't do your due diligence. Because why? You feel envy. There's a third emotion. Envy. Number 4. Overly hopeful or overly optimistic. I'm not saying optimism is a bad thing. But if you're overly optimistic, you're like, hey man, the market always go up. Now you see, it never falls. It's always like this. Then that's when you make a bad decision. Number 5, fear and insecurity. When you feel fearful and insecure and you're not sure about something, and that's when you make bad decisions. These are all the emotions that all the investing psychologists have compiled that cause people to make bad decisions. The different emotions that we feel. Now, the next things that make people feel make bad decisions, please write down, are biases and blind spots. Biases and blind spots. Now, it's one thing that Ken and I teach our mentees, is called confirmation bias. What does it mean? It means that we're living in an age, because of social media, we're living in an age we call an echo chamber. What is an echo chamber? You know that social media, Facebook, Instagram, they use algorithms to detect your interests. They detect what kind of news you like to read. And guess what? They only send you the news that confirm your worldview, that confirm whatever you believe in, and then that just reinforces whatever you have. They know that that is the best way to hook your interest and to keep you coming back. Because we like to be correct. Now, I want you to type inside chat, is that a good idea for investing? Only read more material that confirms what we already know. So basically, we're not even learning anything. We're just confirming and then we feel good. Well done, Melvin. You read a whole 10 articles. They all say that you're correct. Well done. Is that a good idea? Please type inside chat. Is it a good idea? Are you learning anything? In business, that's called getting a bunch of yes men. Right? I got a bunch of people and go, well done, Melvin. You are such a good boss, Melvin. Good job, Melvin. You're the best, Melvin. Now, what the heck can I learn from if I have a bunch of yes men? Nothing. I start to get prideful and egotistical. Hands up if you agree, yes or no? So that's called what? Bias and blind spots. That's called confirmation bias. Now, the third thing that makes people make bad decisions, enemies of the state, please write down, insufficient data. Insufficient data. So number one, you can see why it's so hard to win this game. You got emotions. You got biases and blind spots, right? And third of all, you got data that's insufficient. This game is hard. It is hard. Your brain wants to get distracted. Your brain wants to compare, right? People making the game really complicated for you. We are here, what? Trying to make it as simple as we can. Number one, remember, front side focus. What is my mission? Bring it back to rationality. Number two, simplify the game. I need you to do the right thing when it's the right time and not do anything stupid rest of the time. Number three, I need to beware all of these different enemies that I have, right? One of my blind spots, one of my biases, my fluctuating emotions that are there to trick me, and the data that is insufficient. Now, is this making sense to you so far? Please type yes inside the chat if I'm making sense to you so far. My time with you is kind of short, but these are the very best lessons, right? When we mentor people, that we try to download into their brains. Because why? Because after we explain all of these, then they start to make better decisions. Before they learn this, they start to make very stupid decisions. We ask them also, why you do this? They also don't know. You know, that's how your emotions trick you. Now let's talk about number four now. And let's talk about, see, I got a nice little how picture. Yes, but still cannot control myself. Celine, chill out. Because now we're going to talk about the solution. Okay, that was the setup. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the solution. How do you overcome these obstacles? Bit by bit. I'm going to give you 5 ideas here before we wrap up our time together. Okay, first idea I have for you. I call it live well and detach. Now, what does live well and detach mean? You know what the most important word inside there? The word is detach. Please write the word down. Detach. Okay. In fact, type it inside the chat. Detach. When you are able to have, now what's the opposite of the word detach? The opposite of the word detach is attached. When you are emotionally attached, when you're emotionally hooked, very hard to make good decisions. Now, what is detach? Detach means you take a step back. You're calm. You're collected. You look at it rationally. That's when you make good decisions. How do you unattach yourself from the market? How do you detach from the market without letting it hook your emotions and cause you to go into fear, spiral, stress, pressure, etc.? How do you do that? Number one, it's from an emotional standpoint. And this is what we guide our people to do inside Infinite Wealth, right? As we mentor people, because a lot of people want to come and make money. But sometimes we bring them away. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is not to obsess only about money, because then you're emotionally hooked. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is to take a few steps back and please write down. And put a heart shape there as you write down. Concentrate on what really matters. Now, what does it mean? What really matters? You see, at the end of the day, a lot of what we share at our mentoring program is we have people realize that why do you care so much about the stock market? Why? The reason you care is because you want the money in order to have greater joy, greater freedom, greater time with your family. You want what money can bring you. You don't actually care that much about the up and downs of the market. You don't care that much about the Excel spreadsheets and the amount of percentages and the ROI and the PE. You don't. You just want to make the money so you can have more freedom. You want to have more free time. You want to love and care for your kids. That's what you want. Am I correct? Type yes inside the chat if I'm correct. I don't think your obsession is reading financial reports. So the first thing you can do is really concentrate. Why am I here? What really matters in my life? What really matters in your life is family. What really matters in your life is health. What really matters in your life is happiness. What really matters in your life is relationships. What really matters in your life is purpose. And every single day, instead of letting the market hook your attention, concentrate first on what really matters. There is an amazing concept that if you are interested, you can spend time to go and check out. And it's right there in that graph, somewhere around here. Yes, here. That concept, please write down, is called hedonic adaptation. Now, hedonic adaptation is a very nice way of saying, no matter what good or bad shit happens to you, eventually the brain naturalizes and normalizes it. Now, what the heck does that mean? A long time ago, I was very, very broke. Okay, if I got time to tell you my story, I will share that more with you. Long time ago, I was very, very broke. And I dreamt, one day if I made $500,000, one day if I made $1 million, life would be so amazing. The first day I became a millionaire, life was great for a while. And then eventually, it just became normal again. Psychologists realize that if you made $5 million, you'll be really happy for a while. Then it just becomes money and life. Now, when bad shit happens to you and you're really, really sad for a while, and then it just becomes normal again. Now, what that means is that if we dream so much that this money can bring us such happiness, yes, for a few days, before life becomes normal all over again. Now, what that means is, at the end of the day, what really makes life meaningful is concentrating on what really matters. Now, when you concentrate on what really matters, you know what happens? Please write down. You fill your own cup. You fill your own cup. You feel that my life is okay. My life is full. You see, when I feel that I am okay, I am not attached, then I am detached and I can make better decisions. But if I feel that the moment right now is life and death is very, very stressful, then I let fear, anxiety, pressure enter my brain, I make bad decisions. This is why the more detached you are, the more abundant you are, the better decisions you make, because you're not very attached. You're like, well, if it happens, happens. It doesn't happen, it doesn't matter. But when the more needy you are, the poorer the decisions. Can you type yes if you understand what I'm saying? The more you want something to happen, the less it happens. That's why. Because the more attached you are, the more you mess up the decision. And so when you know that hedonic adaptation sets in, whether it's very good, very bad, I make a lot of money, yay! But it's just life. Afterwards, it's just life. And so if you concentrate on what really matters, I have great health, a great family, a great people in my life, that's fantastic. The next thing is to enjoy the use of money. There is a great book by a guy called Ken Honda. You can write it down. I did put it up over here. He wrote a great book. It's an Amazon bestseller. It's called Happy Money. Okay, if you want, I'm not promoting the book, but I just found the book an amazing read, right? Because a lot of us in the use of money, whether in investing or spending, we have unhappy money, right? We have unhappy money. Now, what does it mean? Now, what it means is very, very simple. Ken Honda, yes, right? It's by a guy called Ken Honda. Now, Ken Honda wrote a book, Happy Money. Can you guys type inside the chat, Happy Money? Because I want to share the concept with everybody. Happy Money. Okay, no slide, doesn't matter. Looks like they have some issues, but if you guys can still hear me talking, it is fine. We don't need the slides. It's okay. You can just hear me. It is good. Okay, can you type yes if you can hear me? It is okay. Think of this, can't even see you. It's okay. It's like an audio book now. It's great. Now, Ken Honda in the book Happy Money described two different things. He described that a lot of people either use money in a happy way, where they enjoy the use of money, called happy money, or they dislike money and they call it unhappy money. Now, how do you live happy money? Very, very simple. Okay, please write down. Don't worry. I know everyone wants to see me. It is okay, right? They will fix it when they fix it. It is fine. Cannot see you, not happy. You are hilarious. Here's how you use happy money. Number one, spend money on companies and things that you like. First thing, please write down. Spend money on companies you support and things that you like, so that when you spend it, you feel good. Number two, spend money on people you like, so that when you buy it for your kids or your loved ones, right, you feel good when you spend that money. So number one, I support companies, and in fact, when I invest in companies that I like, honestly. There are some companies frankly, they might have good ROI, but I don't like them. Okay, I personally do not invest in companies that promote alcohol and gambling, and I also don't invest in companies that produce weapons. Does anyone share my philosophy also? Can you type me inside the chat if you share my philosophy? Okay, I think that there's a company called Lockheed Martin, I think, right? And I think, like, I have seen some people say that, you know, the ROI is pretty good, but I can tell you what Lockheed Martin does. They make fighter jets, they make bombs, and it's a large amount of their weapons are used to kill. Okay, now does anyone follow my philosophy? I don't really want to be putting money in an area where basically every single day they wake up and they want to kill people. Can you type me if you share my philosophy? That's just mine. Okay, some of you don't. Okay, yes, tobacco I don't do. Gambling I don't do. Alcohol I don't do. Sometimes I have a drink or two, but I just don't. I don't want to do that. Okay, so that's my philosophy. So number one, I support company that I like. Number two, I spend money on people that I like. Number three, I tip people or I donate to people to things that I like. Number four, I'm happy to save and spend the money on myself. Okay, Melvin is great for Sharia companies. Yeah. Okay, so that's my own philosophy. So when I spend the money, or when I use the money, or when I invest the money, I'm very happy with the way I do it. I have a happy feeling to it. Now, here is unhappy money. Listen, here's unhappy money. Unhappy money is when, number one, I don't spend money on people that I like. Number two, I spend money on things I don't like, I feel compelled. Number three, I have to pay things that I don't agree with. Those are unhappy money. So what Ken Honda says is, if we use money in the correct, accurate fashion, we feel good about it. So number one, I concentrate on what matters. Number two, I concentrate on health. Number three, when I spend and use money, or when I don't, I'm happy. Number four, the fourth thing we teach people is something called box breathing. Now, box breathing is one of the things that literally the Navy SEALs do to become really, really calm. Can everyone type the word calm inside the chat? C-A-L-M, calm. I have lost count of the number of investors that I've listened to where all of a sudden they change their entire life to be around nature, to exercise, to breathe, to have health, to have family, to have love. And if you listen very closely, none of them are the ones that stare at the screen obsessively. In fact, they almost promote health and inner peace, and it's kind of like weird, right? Because are these investors or like meditators, like meditation teachers? It's kind of weird, right? But I think they've all discovered one thing. They've all discovered that when you live well and you detach and you're calm, you make great decisions because you're not needy and your brain doesn't go crazy. So one of the things that I do every single day is to do box breathing. Okay. Now here, this extends beyond the time that we have together. Box breathing is very simple. You go to YouTube, you type box breathing. It's 4 breaths in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I hold for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I let out for 4 seconds. And then I hold for 4 seconds. And you just do it over and over again. The Navy SEALs use that because their stress and anxiety are a bit higher than ours. We're here talking about market going down. They are getting shot at by people. so their stress is a little bit different. And also they have feelings also. So they go 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold. And then everything just calms down and you live well and you can detach. Okay. If that's good, could you type good so far? We still got 4 more. Okay. Is this useful, guys? Yes or no? Please give me a little bit of feedback. Okay. I can see a lot of you, which is fantastic. Awesome. Second of all, you will love this because this has use beyond investing. Okay. Beyond investing. I want you to listen very, very carefully. How many of us sometimes struggle with negative emotions? Not just in the market, just in general. Can you type me inside the chat? Okay. I know insecurity, fear, all kinds of emotions that pop up in our brain that we don't want. This right here will save your life. Literally, you didn't know you come to V Summit to get something like this, but this will save your life. Listen carefully. This next 5 minutes is so useful to you. And I'm so happy. This is not original to me, but when I discovered this, I said, I need to put this slide in. I need to teach this to everybody. When we feel fear, anxiety, insecurity, emotions that come up, we sometimes feel like we are controlled. Like these emotions have us by the chain and we got no choice. We don't even feel in control. We feel like the emotion is controlling us. Can you type yes if you have felt that before? Like the emotion is controlling us. Like I'm not in control. Cool. The first thing you need to understand, because you know where I got this from? I got this from a psychologist that help people manage their anxiety and all this kind of stuff. The first thing the psychologist has his patients repeat is that I am not the feeling. I am not my emotion. Please write there. I am not my emotion. Please type inside chat. I am not my emotion. You didn't know you come to V Summit today to learn this, but this will save your life. I'm not my emotion. The problem is when the emotion comes up, whatever it is, right? We need to distinguish and wait. I am not the emotion because the emotion comes up naturally, but I'm not. Do you know who you are? You are the person that shines the spotlight on the emotion. And so you are the person in control. You can either choose to shine the spotlight or move the spotlight away from the emotion. You are the person at the back. You are not the emotion. The emotion comes up. The emotion is like a TV screen that comes up. You can either choose to engage or you can disengage and shine the spotlight somewhere else. Can you type yes if you understand? So first thing you need to realize, I'm not my emotion. I'm the guy that gives the emotion attention or not attention. And now here is the part where I bet every single one of us have attempted to do before. When you have a negative emotion, can you type me inside the chat if you have tried to suppress it? Which means like you are like very, very rude to it, like get lost, screw off, right? I push it down, throw it aside. Can you type me if you have ever done it? I have done it. Can you type me inside if you have ever done it before? You try to suppress it. Now, I want to ask you a very frank, honest question. Were you successful? Yes or no? When you try to suppress it, were you successful? The answer is no. We are never successful. We are not. You realize that then please type yes if you agree. The more you try to suppress it, the more it's like pushing down on the spring, then it bounces back and attacks you even more. Yes or no? Type yes or no? Which is why I say today, my sharing over here will save your life. The psychologists realize that when patients attempt to suppress their emotions, they fail. In fact, then the emotion becomes even stronger. It takes over them. What he suggested was something called a two-screen method. Two-screen method. Now, what does this mean? David, listen to me. Two minutes I can explain to you. I want you to imagine that right now in front of you, just visualize now, in front of you there's a TV screen, gigantic LCD screen. And this LCD screen plays in front of you all your goals, all your positive emotions, all your happiness, everything that you want in life. All the things that, positive emotion, just great things. And I want you right now, to your right over here, I want you to put another TV screen, but it's 90 degrees. And on this TV screen is all the negativity, the fear, the anxiety, the sadness, the insecurity, and it's playing over there. So please watch out. In front of you, screen of beauty. 90 degrees, they're here, directly here. All the negativity. Can you type yes if you can do that in your mind? One here, one here. Good. What the psychologists say is next time you have a negative emotion, very simple. You take it and you throw it to this screen over here and you just let it play. You just let it play over here at the side. But guess what? You are here and you are playing in front of you all the things that you want. What does this do? Why is this so beautiful? Because you're not disacknowledging the negativity. You're letting it play over here, but you are retaining the control to focus on that which you want. Someone said, sounds like no, it is not denial. You are acknowledging it, you are letting it play over here, but at the same time, you are directing. And that's what the slide says, redirect your negative emotions. You can redirect it here, you can allow it to play over here while focusing on the things that you want. You want to acknowledge it. But at the same time, you don't want to give it full attention, because when you give it full attention, then you enter what we call a spiral. And so you want to focus on the things that you want. Now, when you're able to do that, to focus on the things that you want while acknowledging, well, I'm having a negative emotion now. What's the funny thing about emotion? Emotion comes and emotion goes. But the problem is when it hooks us. You see, emotions are very not loyal thing. They come, they go. They come, they cause trouble, and then they just disappear as quickly as they come. Yes or no? Please type inside the chat. Yes or no? Emotion got no loyalty on it. They can't stir up a mess. Then they, okay, no, well, we are done, bye. Right? And so we realize, wait a minute, I can put you over here. You can do your thing. After a while, you will dissipate, but I can focus on the things I want. Because where we focus allows us to grow. And so the psychologists recommended that for people with anxiety, people with fear, they say, man, put it over here. Focus here. Now, when the patients were able to do that, right, when the moment the feeling hits them, then they realize, wait, I want to breathe. I'll put the emotion over here, but I want to focus on what I want. Here's what happens. They come down. They start to relax. Can you type yes if you understand? Okay? Do this in your mind. Yes, it is done in your mind. You can investigate. It's called the two-screen method. Okay, there's an entire book written about it, blah, blah, blah. Right? I decided to take out this because the first thing when I read it, I was like, man, this is kind of interesting. Then when I do it myself, then I was like, yes, it's part of acceptance. Someone typed it there. It is part of acceptance. That is the key word. It's because you don't deny the feeling. You accept, you acknowledge it, but you don't pay it full attention. Everyone clear? Give me a thumbs up if you understand. This has users beyond investing, by the way. This has users for letting you have a balanced life. Well, some of us have issues controlling our emotions like anger, frustration, insecurity, etc. Okay? But since we're on the topic of investing, I might as well share this third thing. Okay, remember, what was the first thing? Live well, detach, right? My life is good. I fill my own cup. Number two, when I have emotions coming up, I put it at the side. I concentrate on the things I want, right? So I get control of my emotions. I don't let my fear turn me into a crazy person. Now, what's the third thing? The third thing is to move back to rationality. Wait. Brain, why are we here? Brain, what is the mission? Brain, what are we here to do? Where is my data? What can I do to get control? That's what I call find your clarity and center. Right? When bullets start flying, when market starts dipping, fear comes in, control yourself. Right? Put it here, concentrate here, get control of your emotions. Remember, wait. What is the mission? What are we here to do? Where is my data? What can I take action of in the moment? Find your clarity and center. That's C. Now, D. D is really important. I call it find your community, allies, and mentors. Now, why is this important? Please write inside your notes, devil's advocate. Devil's advocate. Now, why do most great investors, you look at Charlie Munger and Warren, right? Ken and Clive, especially when two people share the same values, but come from a different place, it's a good idea. Why? Because they believe in the same goal, but they have different perspectives. And so when you come up with a perspective, having an ally, a community, a mentor, someone they come and say, wait a minute, I have a different view on this. Wait a minute, have you ever considered this perspective? Really, really important, right? They are not people that come up here and attack you, not people that try to bring you down. They're not trying to derail you, but they're saying, hey man, I agree, but have you considered this point of view? Now that's very, very important. Why? Because many of us get our data from the same place. And so part of being rational, part of taking a whole perspective is to get data from differing sources. Please write that down. Get data from differing sources. Not just your favorite analyst, not just your favorite website, not just your favorite columnist. Right? I like this guy. Good. Buy his novel. Okay, but get the data from differing sources, especially people that, yes, share the same mission, but have a different take. I'm not saying you want to believe them, they're 100%, but consider their perspective because that overcomes biases and blind spots. That's very important. In my business, I do the same thing. My business partner, Joe, we believe in the same mission, but he comes from a different place. So some of my great ideas, I come in there, I'm so passionate, hey man, let's do this. He goes, have you considered this? And I'm open and I go, wow, I never considered that. Now that you mentioned it, sounds like a bad idea. Or sounds like we need to fix certain things. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. Over here, I have it over here, right? Some of the great investors, number one, they have a community of people, right? We have our infinite wealth, our community, a bunch of people believing the same thing, but coming at it from different points of view. Some people are more logical, some people are more emotional. Some people are like this more, some people have a differing view. People have great conversations together. Right, you have mentors. Ken comes in with his point of view, but we got other folks that come in with their point of view. You start to expand your perspective, and you start to have a more balanced. Can everyone type inside the chat? Balanced perspective, balanced view. You start to go, it's kind of true. I was a little bit overly optimistic. Listen, we all have our favorite companies. Yes or no? Can you type inside the chat? We all have our favorite companies. We like the founder, right? We like the company. We like the logo. We like the vibe. And we don't want to hear anyone talk shit about our company. But sometimes it's important, right? We watch everything the founder puts out. You know, I put Tesla in that category. A lot of people Tesla fans, right? They only want to see all the good in Tesla. Don't worry, I'm not hating on Tesla. I own Tesla also, right? But I know some people, man, they're big Tesla lovers. They don't want to hear anything bad. But is it important to have a balanced view? Yes or no? Type inside chat. Is it important? Of course it's important. We're not here to be a fanboy or fangirl. We are here to what? Make some money. Understand? Okay, so yes, we might love it, but let's be balanced. Very, very important. Differing information sources, allies, mentors, someone that can oppose you, provide a different perspective. They give you what we call complete whole data. Now, with this complete whole data, now you're shifting everything from emotion over the rational, right? But this involves you to do two things, which we always advocate when we mentor folks, right? Please type inside your notes also. Humble. First thing, humble. Now, true or false, Gautam earlier today in his presentation talked about humility as an important character trait for an investor. Yes or no? Type inside. Were you awake and listening? I saw some of you were not there. Right? Did he mention it? Yes or no? Why do all these people keep talking about humility? Well, humility is the opposite of pride. Humility means what? I consider different sources. Pride means what? I am always correct. Pride causes people to make bad decisions. Humility causes people to make good decisions. Next one, open-mindedness. Willingness to learn. Did Gautam mention this also? Yes or no? Type inside chat. Did he mention willingness to learn? I was there. I saw it. Did he mention open-mindedness? Yes. Very important. You start to notice, right? All the same things. Everyone seems to mention the same ideas. They say it in a different way, but they all say the same thing. Why? Maybe there's some truth there. Maybe there's some truth there. That's number 4. Number 5. After you make a decision, right? After you consider, you find your center, you get differing viewpoints, etc. You got to make 1 or 2 decisions, right? Remember? Either you do something or do nothing. Both of which are equally important. Type yes inside the chat if you understand. We have mentioned that. It doesn't mean that you always need to do something. You just need to make a decision. A decision to do something is a decision. A decision to do nothing is also a decision. Both are equally important. Many people always talk about doing something. Here, when we mentor people in finance, we always tell them, if you are not certain that it's a right decision, it's okay not to do anything. It's kind of important. It's kind of good. Sometimes the best thing you can do is nothing. Am I correct? Yes or no? Okay. There's a heavy and the other emphasis we have when we mentor folks, right? It's not always just about action. It's also about inaction. It's not always necessary to do something, especially when there's nothing to be done. Now, last of all, is to master thyself. And I have read and seen a lot of investors mention this. There are some great investors who literally have a notebook full of the times where they made mistakes. They don't record their successes because sometimes you can succeed by luck. Is that true? Yes or no? Right? You can succeed by luck. But all of them do one thing is so important. And if you do it, I think it will change your life. I keep a journal. I journal regularly. And I think it is important for us when we make a mistake to record down. How exactly did I come to this rash, impulsive, incorrect decision? What were my biases? What did I seem to forget? Who did I listen to? What triggered me to make an impulsive, inaccurate decision? If you write that down, you know why? Because a lot of people say what? Hey man, we all learn from mistakes. The older we get, the wiser we get. Not true. We only get wiser when we learn from the mistakes, not when we make the mistakes. Can you type yes if you agree? You don't get wiser when you make the mistake. You only get wiser when you learn from the mistake. And if you don't write down and record, because you were triggered by this source over here, this person put a pressure on you, this thing happened, it triggered you and therefore you made a bad decision. If you don't record that, guess what? It's gonna repeat. And so since you already paid the price for the mistake, might as well record now. So I read this, such amazing. Investors that take a notebook and record down all their mistakes. What triggered me? How did I make this bad decision? How can I prevent this in the future? Super, super important. And that I call master thyself. Now, what happens? What happens when we do all of these things? Right? What happens when we do all of these things? Oh, very, very simple. We move ourselves And this is why I say activate the superhero inside you. You know what the opposite of the superhero is? That's the idiot in all of us. We all have an idiot inside us, and that is the emotional idiot. Why? There's the reptilian brain, the child brain, the impulsive brain, right? The one that instinctively wants to come out and do something. Can you type yes if you have experienced that before? Yes, right? It comes out, want to do something, then all of a sudden we do it and we regret, oh man, that was a bad decision. When we do all of these things, starting with what? We detach. Starting with the second thing, right? We isolate the negative emotion, focus on the one that we want. When we find our center, when we find people that can bring us away from childish emotion, impulsive emotion, all the way to rationality. When we record down our mistakes and remind ourselves, wait a minute, this sounds like me making the same mistake again. We activate inside our mind. And we tap into the brain that we have. You see, we have different levels of brain. We have the reptilian brain, the silly brain. And we have the higher intelligence, the one that makes us human, the one that gives us intelligence, rationality, and be like the calm, the adult brain. Can everyone type inside the chat, adult brain? Right? We activate the adult brain, the one that causes us to make decisions that we are proud of. And we all have that. That's why I said activate the superhero inside you. Because don't look at Warren Buffett and go, wow, he's so rational, I'm so emotional. No, you have that also. But you need to shift it away from that to that. You cannot let the default come in. And so all the things I mentioned over here is to shift away from the impulsive default over to the rational superhero adult inside you. If you do that, then you start to feel calm. You start to feel rational. You start to say things like, hey, let's take a moment. Let's really look at it objectively. Can you feel it inside you as I discuss this? Can you type yes if you can feel it? As I went through all the different examples, do you feel that there is a shift? Because I'm using my energy and my passion, funny enough, to shift you away from emotion from when we first started, all the way towards rational now. How do you feel as I went through this whole process to you? How do you feel now? As I talk about this, as I talk about moving away to rationality, how do you feel? Give me a feeling inside. How do you feel? Yes, you feel calm, right? You feel relaxed. You feel like everything is a lot quieter. You feel like if I were to ask you to make a decision now, you take a step back. You see, you naturally know how to do this already. You take a step back and you're like, okay, what's the data? Right? What am I trying to achieve here? Right? What exactly are we doing? Do I have to do this? You see it, you naturally know how to do this. But it just needs to be what? Activated. Can you type inside the chat? Activated. You see, I didn't teach you anything. You know what I did in my short time together? I just activated that part for you. And more importantly, I show you that you have it. See, when I activate it once, right? You can activate it over and over and over again. You have that superhero investor inside you. You have the rational adult inside you. You have the amazing, logical brain inside you. It just needs to be tapped. Yes, someone said, we don't use our brain effectively most of the time. Exactly. And I tell you, the market is designed to make you go into the childish, impulsive brain. Am I correct? Yes or no? Because it actually serves you. It serves the people who are controlling it. Yes or no? Right? Marketers, advertisers, right? They want you to go there, right? Because you make dumb decisions, right? Then they can manipulate you. Right? You see? But what am I doing? I'm serving you, activating that. So you can activate that, right? Someone said, think slow. Yes, right? There's a great book by Daniel Kaufman, right? Called Thinking Fast and Slow. And over here, we are using the rational part of our minds. Okay? And I want to end off by simply saying this. Why not you? Right? As we mentor folks, we bring them away from impulsiveness, childishness, over the place of rationality. And after mentoring so many people, right? Hundreds of people so far over the years and years and years, Ken and myself, right? It's our little secret project. We have realized that everybody can activate their superhero investor inside them. Sometimes it takes allies and mentors. Sometimes it takes calm. Sometimes it takes changing your life. Sometimes it takes all of these things that we mentioned. But we all can do it. Please type inside the chat, I can do it. Okay, please type inside the chat, I can do it. Fantastic. Okay, before I end off over here, guys, please give me a little bit of feedback. Was this useful for you? You know, I'm having a really busy day. I'm actually doing a workshop myself also, right? Was this useful for how are you feeling? Please type inside the chat. How are you feeling? Short sharing session. Didn't want to make it very long. Okay. How are you feeling about our time together? Okay. Listen, I want to end off by saying this. You know, all the methods we covered here, yes, can be used for investing. It's fantastic. But at the same time, it can be used for life also. Am I correct? Please type inside chat, yes or no? It can be used for life also. And that's what, you see, that's what this is all about. At the end of the day, money is a tool for us to live a greater quality of life. And let's never forget that we're not here to care about the fluctuations on the market. We're not here to just care about PE ratios and this kind of thing. We're here to use all of these things so that we can make the money and, more importantly, live an amazing life. And that's the difference between just rich and wealth. Rich is only having money. Wealth is having money and all the things that come along with it. In ending, I wish you not a rich life. I wish you a wealthy life. I wish you a life of health, wealth, relationships, self, happiness, purpose. And I wish you this, not in limited, but infinite abundance. I love you. Stay tuned for all amazing speakers today and tomorrow. I look forward to meeting you. I look forward to you living your very best life. Take care, guys. All the best. Bye-bye.